Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and the Girl Guides are at it again, pandering to the requirements of the trans lobby, this time by enabling, rather than actually helping, a boy who wants to be a girl and who is now intent on joining and has joined the Brownies, part of the Girl Guiding Association. So, what's going on? Why are the parents allowing this to happen? Why is he being enabled rather than receiving psychiatric help? He is, after all, just a child. Let's have a look at the article. It's quite long. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but we are going to sort of surface skim the top part of it to see what the state of play is in this particularly, and I think, sad case of a child not receiving the right help. Here we go. Right, so here it is, and it is actually quite sad in depth, but it could get you angry on the surface level. But anyway, Girl Guides spark trans row, another one, by issuing statement from parents who let their 7-year-old son live their true gender as a girl. Wrong, the true gender is a boy. It's just the parents enabling it because they want to have someone special in their lives. In an article blasted as dangerous reality-defying nonsense, the article shares stories of Rainbow, who began living as a girl from the age of 5. This is a 5-year-old boy. Campaigner Maya Forstater criticised the article and said the child is not a girl. No, and never will be. Others supported the piece and thanked Girl Guides for bringing attention to it. I thank them for bringing attention to it because it only highlights how dangerous Girl Guides can be. Not the Girl Guides themselves, they're fine, they're just little girls in an organisation. I meant the Girl Guiding Association, the organisation behind it, which is dangerous. It is not looking after the needs of its members. No pun intended. Girl Guides has sparked a trans row after publishing an interview with the parents of a child who began living as a girl from the age of 5. No, of a boy who pretended to be a girl from the age of 5. The largest organisation for girls in Britain boasted of its trans-inclusive credentials as it told of the story of Rainbow, one of its newest brownies, in its summer magazine. You see, it thinks trans-inclusive credentials is a thing, and it really isn't a thing. You don't get points in the afterlife for this kind of dross. The article was shared on Twitter. In the article, available online, parents Jane and Mike, not their real names, explained that their child was born. When their child was born, they assumed, they say, she was a boy. Probably because they looked between the legs and saw the meat and 2 veg and went, it's a boy. And now they're calling their child she. They need to have the child removed from them because they're obviously inadequate parents and are dangerous and are harming this child psychiatrically. He was a boy. He is a boy. He will always remain a boy. And this was before he began identifying more with female characters, toys and books when he was 18 months old. But it's fine to identify with characters. I identify with hobbits when I'm reading Lord of the Rings. I don't suddenly develop hairy feet. Maya Forstater, director of the Sex Matters group that has been supported by the author J.K. Rowling, both of whom are friends of the channel with Maya and wish them all the best in their endeavours. She said she refused to recognise the child as a girl, and quite right too, because the child is a boy. She said, this is from Girl Guiding, is such dangerous, reality-defying nonsense. A feminine little boy who likes to wear dresses may well grow up to be a gay man, but he is not a girl. The idea that a 5-year-old knows their true gender and should be socially transitioned and affirmed as being the opposite sex is extreme gender ideology, not cautious care. Some followers of Miss Forstater agreed with her, branding the piece madness, dangerous and bizarre. Others were more supportive. However, as one wrote, thank you for drawing my attention to this wonderful trans-inclusive article on Girl Guiding website. This is obviously from one of the mentally ill people. I'm so pleased that Girl Guiding continues to be supportive of trans youth and ignore the bigots and haters. Now that line itself, they are pleased that Girl Guiding is enabling mental illness. They are pleased that rather than Girl Guiding helping a child to come to terms with what it is, they are happy and pleased that Girl Guiding is taking them down a line. I'm not even going to mention the actual figures for ending oneself in the trans community. It's massively high. Girl guiding is enabling this, and that person's pleased with it. They're mentally ill. The mother in the article said, Rainbow has been begging me to buy a dress to wear in public, which she initially refused, before finally agreeing. Because at least with the dress on, he could get back to being a kid. Jane added, my child has always talked about the difference between boys and girls, but his questions accelerated as he got older. One day he said to us in a quiet voice, my real name is Rainbow. The article said Rainbow's journey happened during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Bada bing! So a period where nobody was meeting, mixing, children were not forming the relationships at the age appropriate time to form those relationships, were not meeting in a socially constructive way. People were locked up. Even normal people, grown-ups, were having massive mental problems. And they're putting this down to, oh, well, better get the child a dress and whip his ghoulies off, rather than, actually, there may be deep-seated psychological problems here associated with a traumatic period in our history. These parents are dangerous. They need to have the child taken from them. And the Girl Guiding Association, I think, really needs to be disbanded for being a dangerous extremist organisation. Anyway, I shall stop here and come up before I get angry about it. This is not the first time the Girl Guides have been involved in something like this, not even the second, third or fourth time. It's an amazingly evil organisation. But then when it has, shall we say, male transvestite dominatrices as guide leaders, you have to wonder about the agenda. They're obviously running scared of the tiny minority of mentally ill people who call themselves the trans lobby. You can just safely ignore them. Nobody cares. If the parents of children knew what was going on within the doors of the Girl Guiding organisation, I think a lot of parents would pull their children out. But as for the parents themselves, the parents of this child, now, there's been a lot of mental problems with children because of the lockdown, but they have hothoused this problem. They have pandered. They have not been parents. They have not stood up and drawn a line. They've let the child dominate and make its own decisions. This is a 5-year-old at the time. They are unsuitable parents. That child should be removed from them. They should be given an education. They're going to damage that child psychologically and probably physically. And I wouldn't be surprised in a few years, once the child's gone all the way down that one-way street and it regrets the decision and it looks at the parents who enabled it with contempt. And they deserve every bit of that contempt. And that's assuming the child is still on this planet. Anyway, I shall round off here. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a comment, leave a like, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, avoid weird organisations, and goodbye.